Greetings, people of YouTube. I am WaspStar986 and welcome to Random Nation Studios. Today we have a very special episode of Rants and Reviews, and as you can tell, we are going to be looking at Poppy Playtime, or more specifically, the Chapter 3 teaser trailer. As of me recording this video, the trailer dropped only 4 hours ago, so I'm actually not all that late to the party, for once. I actually have the trailer up in my browser right now, so let's go over there and check it out. So originally what I was going to do when this dropped was I was going to do another live stream, but then I thought better of it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to play the video, and if I see something that catches my eye, I will pause the trailer and I'm gonna talk about it. So, without further ado, let's get this party started. Ooh, flames. Like we haven't seen enough of that lately. Play care. Creepy hallway. Okay, only 22 seconds into this almost 2-minute video, and we have a decapitated Huggy Wuggy doll and what appears to be a headless teddy bear? Question mark? Like, already you can tell the devs went hard on this game. Like, Mob Games, you didn't have to go quite this hard, but we love you for it. Okay, here we have I'm assuming it's a photo of one of the kids that was at the play care. And, well, I mean, obviously it's been photoshopped. But the, interesting thing here is you look and you can see, claw marks on the wall. There's been chunks of the wall that had been gouged out. Kind of. And if you look carefully, you'll see that the claw marks actually go under the picture. Like, the portrait itself is unscathed, but the claw marks don't actually touch the picture? Huh. Well, that's interesting. Okay, now this is, again, interesting. Again, you see the claw marks don't touch the picture. They go under the picture, but what I find even more cool is the picture itself. Like, I mean, obviously a little kid drew this because, duh. But to a little kid, like, if you remember when you were a little kid, you ever tried drawing a bird? This is probably the closest you'd ever get to drawing a bird. So it says, time for bed, and the children, and it's like, I think they're supposed to be clouds. I think these are clouds that are just kind of floating around them, and they're red, like the poppy mist that we saw in, well, I mean, it wasn't actually in the first teaser, it wasn't in the teaser, but it was in the thumbnail for the teaser, so, and of course, you know, anything red in this world seems to be associated with poppies, or Poppy Playtime herself, so what I'm assuming is that this red whatever that's floating around the kids' heads is that poppy mist, maybe like a vaporized version of the poppy gel that Playtime Co. used in its original experiments. And the reason they're using it is to make the kids go to sleep. I mean, it says it right there, time for bed. So maybe this character, which a lot of people have been theorizing is probably some kind of bird. Maybe it's like a mother hen or mother goose-like character, and I'm guessing that their whole bit is going to be about, you know, making kids sleep. In Chapter 2, Mommy Longlegs was in charge of the PlayStation, and so her whole spiel was about, you know, playing games. Everything was a game to her, and as the, like, the hostess of the PlayStation, that makes sense. So with this character, maybe their whole bit is about, you know, going to sleep. I actually think that in all likelihood it could be more like an owl or something because in the one teaser image we got, oh goodness, I think it was like 3 days ago, maybe a week ago. I'm not sure. It wasn't too long ago. And I think Mob Games dropped it on Twitter because of course they did. We saw a Huggy Wuggy toy being kind of dragged along the ground in the clawed foot of something purple, and well, the toes themselves weren't furry, but everything else was kind of fluffy. And the only creature, like the only thing that actually matches up with a bird and anything to do with like sleeping and nap time and nighttime is an owl. So, yeah, I'm just gonna put a pin in that for now, and let's watch the rest of this. Ooh, okay, so now we also have a little bit of Project Playtime crossing over into the main series. Finally, for those of you who haven't followed the franchise very closely, like, well, I have been, but that's because I have nothing better to do right at the moment. But in Project Playtime, which is like a spin-off IP of Poppy Playtime, we recently got a new addition to I think it's supposed to be an ARG. But I'm honestly not entirely sure at this point anymore. But I do remember seeing a phone just like this. It's like an old landline phone from way back in the day, because, well, cell phones weren't always the go-to for everything. God, I feel old. But yeah, there was this landline phone with Boxy Boo as like the design, and I'm pretty sure it had, at one point it had eyes, and it looks like it's got a big open mouth here. In the ARG, I'm pretty sure it has like a speaker where the mouth is supposed to be. It looks like someone or something got a hold of this Boxy Boo phone and ripped out its eyes, and possibly also whatever was inside the phone, because again, the mouth where like the speaker is supposed to be, the earpiece, is empty. So something has gone just full Hannibal Lecter on this area. That is fantastically creepy. And here we have some more creepiness. The original saved me. I rejoice in him. I'm getting some very strong Sammy Lawrence vibes from this. Remember in Bendy and the Ink Machine, Sammy Lawrence was kind of like, I guess you could say he became like a cultist, and he quite literally worshipped Bendy, the dancing demon, like he was this god or something. And now it seems like the prototype has become the center of some sort of cult or cult-like following amongst the toys, and possibly also the children. What few children may have survived the takedown of Playtime Co. But yeah, that kind of verbiage isn't something you use when you talk about, like, just say the president of an organization or your average chess club president. That is how you talk about like worshiping a god. And so I think that's what's going on here is the prototype has acquired like godly status among this little pocket dimension that is now Playtime Co. Further evidence, I live to serve our angel of salvation. Yikes. Also yikes because there's some also very creepy imagery and wording here on the pictures. I mean, I can't quite make out what's on the far left. Honestly, it looks, for some reason, my brain, it looks kind of like the puppet mask from FNAF. But then again, I've been ingesting a lot of FNAF stuff lately. But you look to the right, and it says, "He gives me nightmares." And then at the upper right corner, just like Mommy and Daddy before they left me. I have no words. I'm just gonna move on. Huh? What? The fudge muffins. This is an impaled Huggy Wuggy head on a pike. And it's been stuck there recently. You guys saw that blood drop. This didn't happen 10 years ago. Like, to be fair, I have no real frame of reference as to when whatever we're watching in this video took place. But you saw that blood drop. This thing was stuck on that pike very recently. Like, it's still dripping liquid. Whatever is in this toy. Now, this might seem crazy, but I think this might actually be our original Huggy Wuggy from Chapter 1. Now, before anyone asks me, just hear me out. We've seen, we have yet to see much of anything from Huggy Wuggy, aside from a few, like, little traces. Like, I think the most we actually saw that could even remotely hint that he's still alive was some, like, markings showing that he maybe dragged himself up from the bowels of the factory, and some tufts of hair in Chapter 2, like when we went to get the Bunzo toy. But aside from that, there has been, like, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And now we're seeing this, and I mean, you tell me this doesn't look like the promotional material that we saw when they announced that they revamped Chapter 1. Like, it's the same head. Now, it could be Huggy from Chapter 1, or it could be another smaller, bigger body's Huggy. We saw in the video with Kissy Missy that they didn't necessarily make only one bigger body's toy, and in fact, in a lot of the promotional material we've seen so far, we've seen multiples of quite a few of the bigger body's IPs. And Huggy was one of them. And I think it was in the one where we saw the little Brawn toy that just got absolutely massacred. There were like half a dozen smaller Huggy Wuggies, but they weren't like your regular Huggy dolls. They weren't as big as Huggy from Chapter 1, but they weren't as small as the typical Huggy Wuggy dolls that we saw in boxes in Chapter 1. So either this is like a medium-sized Huggy head, a head from a medium-sized Huggy Wuggy toy, like a early version of a bigger body's Huggy, or this is in fact the fate of Huggy Wuggy from Chapter 1. Like, he ticked somebody off. He made somebody very upset with him. It's possible that this was like what the prototype did out of anger, that, you know, he couldn't stop us in Chapter 1. But that's really me just spitballing. But I really do have my suspicions that this could be our old buddy Huggy, who clearly got, you know, the receiving end of somebody's wrath. Is this supposed to be the prototype? I'm sorry I keep pausing, but look at this thing. What do you think this is? What would you think this is? Especially keeping in mind what Mommy Longlegs said near the end of Chapter 2. He'll make me part of him? Yeah. I mean, I can see a little bit of everybody here. I can see at least one Huggy. I can see a Brawn head. I think I can see a Bunzo or part of a Bunzo. I also think I'm seeing parts of what could be a PJ Pugapillar. I also think I'm seeing at least one head in this mass that could possibly belong to Mommy Longlegs. But look at this thing. This is pure nightmare fuel if I ever saw one. I I don't know if this means we will be going up against the prototype or that we will be seeing the prototype in Chapter 3. It's possible that this is just giving us like a taste of what we might be in for if and when we do finally see the prototype. If not in like the main part of the chapter, then possibly near the end. Again, I don't know, but somebody modeled this in game and put it in this trailer for a reason. So yeah, just let this sink in. This is a thing. And we have more creepy writing on the walls. Let's see here. I can't make out all of this because some of it is obscured. Followers of the path. I think this could say Wonderlands or Farlands. I'm not entirely sure. Of course, there's Never Forget the Hour of Joy, because the game's not going to continue to drill that into our heads. Clearly, the Hour of Joy is a very big deal in this world, but it's that one line right next to where it says "Followers of the Path" that is that really makes me think that what we're dealing with here is a bird, because it says "my somniferous flock." Of course, if you're in a flock, odds are you are a bird. Bird's flock. And I'm pretty darn sure that this is the one who's been doing all the eye gouging, is this bird or bird-esque creature that's in charge of the play care. Another thing that is kind of fascinating is the term somniferous. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but my point is, if you know anything about the Latin language, somni, I think is the prefix somni or somne has to do with sleep and or dreams. So my somniferous flock, it has to do with like, obviously this creature has to do with like sleeping and dreams. Like we saw in that one picture, it says he gives me nightmares. Now, whether the he in question is the prototype or the play care's guardian is a complete mystery, but they call it a somniferous flock. So here's my guess as to what we are going to be looking at in this particular chapter. I think that what we have here is possibly a nocturnal bird as the play care's guardian, most likely a owl, and the owl disperses this poppy sleeping mist to put the children under its care to sleep. And it's possible that this poppy gas was also instrumental in the transference process for the toys that the scientists were making using the children that, you know, they spent their days or, you know, possibly their nap times at least, or maybe they even slept there. Like this could be more like the orphanage or part of the orphanage inside the factory, because I think in the original teaser that we got, the man announced that they were actually making their own orphanage. So the orphanage obviously needs some place for the children to sleep. And that's where the play care came in. They would go over there and they would you know, they would do whatever they do besides the experiments like the games over the PlayStation, and then they would come back here to rest under the guard of this owl creature. And the poppy mist not only would help them to sleep, but it was important that they, you know, get it in their system for when they were transferred into the toys. But yeah, I honestly think that the next big bad is going to be an owl, and the whole spiel is that when he or she or they or whatever we're working with releases this gas, we have to use the gas mask that we saw in the first teaser to avoid being put to sleep. Now, it probably comes with some sort of drawback, like it will limit our vision, but it's the only way to avoid being completely just knocked out by this bird releasing this sleeping mist. That's my theory, and until the chapter comes out, I'm sticking with it. Moving on. Children screaming. Ron? What the? Chapter 3, Deep Sleep. Called it. I kid. But seriously, cool. Winter 2023? Are you kidding, Mob Games? That's like, what, 3 months away? Holy cow, like, how big is this game? I mean, I know they said that Chapter 3 was going to be bigger than Chapter 3, or Chapter 2, but holy cow, we still have to wait another, like, at least 2 months? But, you know, it is what it is. So, winter of 2023, that's when, Chapter 3, Big Sleep, comes out. Very, very cool. Very, very creepy. And, I approve. But what do you all think? Do you think I could be right about what we're going up against? Do you think it is an owl? Do you think we might actually get to see Braun? Like, actually alive this time? I, for one, would like to see him alive at least once in this entire game. But, you know, that's just me. I'm a dinosaur nerd. I apologize for nothing. With that said, I think there's pretty much nothing left for me to say, other than, you know, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, meh. Also, please leave a comment down below, and if you really want to, help out, I plan on doing a theory video about the, Ruin DLC for Security Breach. I have thoughts about the game. I have thoughts about the DLC. I have theories, and I refuse to keep them to myself. So if you want to, you know, tune in when that finally drops, hopefully in the next week or so, hopefully, ring the little bell to get informed for when that pops up. Anyway, that's pretty much all I really have to say. Remember to stay safe, stay awesome, and stay random. Peace.